Alright friends, it's T and I'm back with a new video on Team Blaha client Michelle, part 47. Jason Blaha, Strength and Fitness. The lifting gym slave herself. Poor client Michelle. Darn. Alright, let's review this video.
Hey everybody, it's JasonBlaha here. Once again, it is time for my client Michelle's vlog, and
You know, I see no change at all whatsoever in her body. There's no change. No change in the lifts, no change in the bodily structure. Nope, nothing.
still doing conjugate for her. Keeping in mind, I'm keeping...
Conjugate doesn't exist in nature. No such thing as a conjugate. There's just movement patterns. That's it.
Because we're so close to a meet, we are keeping the max effort work with very low variation. It's pretty much just floor pressing and bench pressing. The lower body stuff is just the back squat and the conventional deadlift. Yes, she is getting leaner still, not necessarily intentionally. She's like, I'm still trying to eat healthy, but, you know, I'm trying to force down more carbs, but the scale's been going down. She's even dialed back her conditioning.
Oh, she's trying to down more carbs. That doesn't really help with conditioning, doing carbs, but yeah, basically, you know, artificial diet, you know, burning artificial calories from her artificial diet. That's great. These lifts are exactly the same. Exactly the same.
You know, in general, but she is...
You know, she's gonna regret what she's doing to her body, especially eating these artificial foods. I put up something in my community section about fructose. Since a lot of the corn syrup that they use now in the industries, it's in all your food. They've replaced sugar with high corn syrup fructose. It is a nasty shit, bro. It fucking destroys muscle cells, causes apoptosis in muscle cells. Plus, it messes up your mitochondria. If it does that, you could lose a lot of your strength. Believe me, you can become very weak over time. A whole bunch of things will happen.
Training, 6 days a week. So we do my normal training.
It's also associated with DNA damage and a bunch of diseases and things like that as well.
And I give her 4 workouts and then on a normal conjugate, and then she likes to come in on the weekends and do her own extra workouts. And as a coach, I allow this. This is one of these things that when it comes to your lifters, particularly someone like her, she's always been a very, very high volume training athlete, right? She comes from a boxing background.
Apparently, he says she's training 6 days a week, high volume training. If it's high volume training, it's sarcoplasmic. It's sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. Because you're going to talk about hypertrophy training. It's sarcoplasmic, man. It's known fact. It's an NCBI.
And so she likes doing tons and tons of training. And she's like, I need it for my sanity. It's also a case of even...
She needs it for her sanity, all this tons and tons of training, because she's eating an artificial diet. The artificial diet is making her insane, because these people, these robots, they refuse to eat a natural diet. And then when you do present them with a natural diet, they are like, what? They can't understand what a natural diet is. You tell them, well, you have to eat an animal-based diet. That's a natural diet. And they're like, carnivore diet? How can I eat that? Carnivore? How do I just eat meat? What do you mean, how do you just eat meat? It's natural. It's all this stuff is unnatural. Man-made, engineered stuff is unnatural. So if you're eating that, you're destroying yourself. There are laws in nature, you know, and if you break the laws of nature, you're going to pay for it.
And even her doctors recommend it. So in that case,
Yes, her doctors recommend it. How would you know that?
It's like carry on. But that's lighter walk around weight than we were, about 6 weeks ago. So, again, getting leaner, but notice the pull-ups are getting better. She's doing multiple sets of 15 on full.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. Looks like CrossFit to me. It's the exact same exercises she does on everything in all her videos. There isn't any difference here. I see nothing at all.
Hypertrophy training with, hey, this is the exercise I always do. Look.
Yes, hypertrophy training. What type? Myofibrillar or sarcoplasmic? What type?
If the gym is busy and you have to do something else, go for it. If you're supposed to incline bench.
I tell you, Michelle would get a lot more if she did less. You get more out of stuff that you do less, but you put maximum effort. Look, the less you do, the more you get. providing you put in maximum effort in that moment. But you're not putting like the maximal effort in these things, and you're just doing more. You understand me? It just doesn't equate. Doing more doesn't equate to more adaptations. Doing less gets you more adaptations. I'll explain this. Periodic lifters get myofibular growth. Okay, they can get that through being a periodic lifter, but chronic lifters get sarcoplasmic, so it's artificial. And yeah, she's lifting every day, but she's not exceeding these lifts, so she's not getting any more adaptations and strength. So forget that.
What you're programming, and the incline benches are tied up. You can go over and do dumbbell work, incline dumbbell, do some high rep dumbbells. You can go over and do a machine. As long as you're taking them close to failure, you're good. Okay. And
Yes, take them close to failure. And why do you need that in sarcoplasmic hypertrophy training? You don't. It just I don't know, whatever. Maybe to go to failure to what, to lift heavier? I don't know. No.
that's kind of a point I make to people when it comes to any sort of training modality and certain things we do with big lifts. This is why periodization is nonsense. For hypertrophy, all that is irrelevant. For hypertrophy purposes,
For hypertrophy has many meanings though, man.
as long as volume, tension, and fatigue and set quality.
Yeah, tension, fatigue, set quality. See, there's more than one type of hypertrophy. See that? There's more than one type. There's two types. And then there's even more. And so, yeah, I don't get it, man. It's that type of hypertrophy is not based on this type. This type needs to be injurious to get myofibular growth, like it says there, in response to injury. So she's high fatigue, whatever, sarcoplasmic. She's like, he says, stimulation. We need to stimulate the muscle. Does it look like you need to stimulate something there? Does it say stimulate or does it say injury for myofibular growth? It says injury, does it say stimulate? You want to stimulate, you're going to stimulate glycogen to, for every gram of glycogen, 3 grams of water be drawn into the muscle. That's the stimulation he's talking about.
Is there is no programming for size. And I want to make that very
I love that. There's no programming for size. No, of course not. Just eat shitloads of potatoes. There is a section in here. So in this section, it says the role of supporting cells, population satellite cell mediated muscle repair. It's an NCBI, so muscle repair, regeneration, adaptations. Adult skeletal muscle is frequently exposed to various stimuli. Yeah, here we go with the stimuli, which has the potential to place the tissue into states of metabolic stress and elicit structural damage. It does. Stress, metabolic stress, and elicit structural damage. But what type? Because there's many kinds of damages. One person's like, you told us we're getting damage. Okay, what kind of damage? Even that you have to question. What kind of damage are you getting? Muscle damage can occur due to a variety of reasons, yeah, such as blunt force trauma. You doing that? Myotoxic agents, ischemia, dystrophy, eccentric exercise or unaccustomed exercise, or untrained or unfamiliar forms. And it goes on and on. They just will tell you a few of them here, okay? Despite skeletal muscle being susceptible to physical trauma. Physical trauma and stress, it has substantial capacity for regeneration due to presence of satellite cells. Following the initial injury, there is degeneration of the muscle fiber through the breakdown of myofibrillars. And it is sarcolemma, so breakdown of myofibrillars. So if you're going to the gym, somebody's telling you you're building a muscle with reps and all that, stimuli. Are you building muscle or are you breaking muscle down? See the question? You have to question everything, bro.
very clear. Anyone who's telling you that specific
Is she breaking tissue down by wearing her body out like this? The stimuli.
periodization and mesocycles and these things is beneficial.
What type of damage do you think she's stimulating in her body Remember, the repeated bout effect protects muscles from being damaged, micro damaged. So what kind of damage is she getting here with stimuli? She works out 6 days a week. If you get a micro tear every single day, if it was to keep coming out without repairing, you get rhabdo and die in a hospital in a stupor. See what I mean? So what kind is she getting? Is it hypoxia, oxidative stress? What kind is it? See what I mean? Ischemia? What is it?
To hypertrophy, they may be trying to con you. Just throwing that out there. Because again, it's as long as you were taking stuff to fatigue, it doesn't matter. And I'm not saying we should confuse the muscles. This has been
It doesn't seem like a gym slave, but she's made herself into a gym slave.
confused with people who will say, well, we need to confuse the muscles. That's why we do. No. It doesn't matter. You just need to stimulate the muscles.
You just need to stimulate it. But it says there's stimuli, and then it gives you all of these damages. Which one are you stimulating, Blaha? Look, which damage are you stimulating here, Blaha? Where did it go? Shit, I lost it. Hold on a second. I don't know if it's here. Oh, I don't know where it went now. Damn it. Hold on. There it is. So which one is it? It says various stimuli. Which one is it? Is it myotoxic agents, ischemia, dystrophy, eccentric, unaccustomed? Which one is it? Which one is she doing for damaging her muscles? Stimuli. The stimuli, or is it sarcoplasmic stimuli? Which one is it?
You just need to stimulate the muscles.
See?
But the point that people have made is that, well, when I wrote
That's easy to say. You just need to stimulate the muscles. Come on, guys. You just need to stimulate it. And then guess what? Voila. Out of the blue, out of the air. Voila.
movements, I made just as good at gains or whatever. It's like, well, it's not because you shocked anything or muscle confusion. It's because you kept training. And when it comes to our rep
So you keep training and that's how things happen. Okay.
work, it's not like the neural drive and stuff matters the same degree as our heavy, big movements, okay? Our big, heavy movements, completely different ballgame. There is a neural drive and technique component. But when it comes to did you do on your incline bench, did you that day happen to do dumbbells or a machine, does it largely matter? Probably not. And I think specifically not for a secondary exercise, okay? That's why I tell people only worry about any programming for your big movements, like your primary lifts, the lifts that you count as your primary. Everything else is just about creating fatigue at the right joint angles with movement patterns. Again, just a thing to keep in mind. But for people who are chasing pure hypertrophy, programming is largely overrated itself. Exercise, picking correct movement patterns through sufficient ranges of motion with sufficient volume and intensity. It's really her muscle mass as high as possible, because that is what moves weight on the platform.
Muscle mass as high as possible. That's what moves weight on the platform. Yeah, muscle ain't so easy to build because it has an MD size limit, bro. Haha.
Okay? That's what moves weight on the platform. Although, as a coach, I do.
You know what makes it easy to build muscle? Not lifting the weight. When protein synthesis exceeds that breakdown. All you have to do is eat protein that exceeds that breakdown, and you'll build these muscles. You'll get them big. To a degree, of course. They won't get any bigger. Keep eating. But then there's sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, which has no domain limit. See, look. Sarcoplasmic hypertrophy has no MND size limit, and neither does fat cells. They're not subject to the MND size limit, but muscle cells are. See the problem here? Look, somebody asked me, how do you get over MND size limit? Oh, it's flexible and all that. It's easy. You want to get over MND size limit? Move for training for sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. It has no MND size limit, okay? But it's not going to make you stronger. It'll give you the appearance of being bigger, but that doesn't mean you're stronger because it doesn't build myofibrillars, okay? So neither do fat cells. Okay, they have no domain limit, fat cells. Well, muscle, yeah, that just doesn't want to go there. Doesn't want to get bigger.
I do want her to keep up in the carbs. I don't like her necessarily losing the weight at this point.
See, keep up with the carbs. I don't the carbs. I don't necessarily like seeing her lose weight. Yeah, what weight is she losing? Sarcoplasmic. That's all. Her problem is she's burning too much glycogen to add the glycogen into the muscle. So she's just a chronic inflamer, I call it. She's chronically inflaming her muscles. This is chronic inflammation. Another day of infertility and accelerated aging for Michelle, client Michelle. That's all. That's basically the bottom line here. That's what she's doing.
Because we're in a good spot for the weight class. I would rather her be gaining more lean muscle at this point.
Yeah. You want her to always gain this lean muscle and everything. She hasn't gained jack, except for some sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, because looking fluffy. She does the exact same things over and over again. This is where your body is adapted. It's adapt quickly to these movements, the exercises. Even if you wanna do conditioning work like her, whatever the hell she's doing there, she needs to do things that she's unfamiliar with or unaccustomed or untrained to get some new adaptations. Otherwise, there's nothing going on there. Stagnation.
Given my choice, but it is what it is. She's doing the best she can to get the food down. But we run into a case like that with some of these high output lifters where, when they're eating a fairly healthy diet and they're training so hard, it can actually be hard to even maintain body weight and body fat.
Body weight, body fat, maintain body weight, body fat, body fat? I want to lose body fat. I don't know, man. What the hell this guy's talking about?
Again, something we need to always keep in mind. Another reason.
Yeah.
Just something to be aware of, and that's what we're seeing here. So then her dynamic days, of course, we do speed bench followed by similar work with the game. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.
Nice squat there, Michelle. 2 reps. Well, I don't know what else to say there, man, but just another day of poor Michelle infertility and a day of accelerated aging. She is absolutely wasting her time. She's so adapted to all these movements. See you in the next one, friends. Ciao.